cancer or diabetes or anything like that.
She didn't have cancer. She didn't have diabetes.
She has alopecia, which is hair loss.
Yeah, talk to me. I got hair loss up here. Charlie might be an example. Fred might be an example.
Mhm.
Yeah. See, Joe's mentioning it already, and it's not proper. just teasing, Joe.
Well, here he could make jokes back here.
Yeah, but for a woman though, it's pretty rough. I mean, men kind of make jokes about it, but for women, it's not a thing to joke about.
Especially now that they've stopped making wigs.
Well, women do lose their hair, but they're quick
Yeah.
to wear wigs where men are not.
Oh, men can wear wigs too. They don't
Well,
look
They
as bad,
can,
though.
they can, but men are more likely to not wear them, where women are more likely to wear a hairpiece or a wig or something.
Well, I was thinking of wearing a wig. It's called a toupee in men.
A toupee only covers part. A wig covers the whole head.
Okay, so it was a toupee that I was considering. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to work with this woman who worked for one of the big, cosmetic companies or something. And the guy who ran it, he had a very expensive wig, as you imagine, because he had a lot of money. And then over the years, he just had it modified, a little gray as he got older. He got, so it looked natural through his whole adult life.
Some of those wigs really look like wigs.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, if they're not trimmed properly, they look bad.
I don't see any examples here, but I think the worst one, and we've all seen it, is older men dyeing their hair like black or something.
Oh, yeah.
Really dark. I mean, talk about stand out. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see, coloring your hair to, to some natural color, but boy, you see these people, looks like shoe polish.
Yeah, I'd like to talk
It's
about
funny that
too.
no Koreans in here have gray hair, isn't it?
Bruce Willis. That's kind of a strange. Have you heard? Has anybody heard of that problem before, where he can't understand what other people are saying, and he knows what to say but can't say it?
Yeah. Old age.
Yeah, I found it interesting that they didn't say dementia. Maybe it's a separate thing. I don't know, but you start thinking that as soon as you hear something like that.
It's aphasia.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not too uncommon with stroke per people, right? If you've had a stroke, that's one of the symptoms.
Oh.
I know.
So has Bruce Willis had a stroke? Something that'll
didn't
keep
say
him off
that.
the
They
screen
didn't say that.
finally?
Yeah, I don't. They said he didn't, but I don't know.
Well, I didn't hear him say he didn't. I just hear him report what his diagnosis
People
was.
Right.
can have mini strokes they don't really know they have.
Okay.
But I've seen stroke victims. I've been at a few. In one particular case, the gentleman was having a stroke. We were waiting for the ambulance, and he was coming in and out of it. He could not talk, but I assumed he could understand everything, but he couldn't talk. And then he started talking, and then he'd go back to not slurring his words and not talking, and until the paramedics took him away. So I actually saw him coming in and out of the stroke. Where my neighbor, when she had a stroke, and I was there, had to call paramedics for her. Right away, I could tell she had all the traditional symptoms of a stroke. Half of her side of the body was weak, and the one side of the face was not well, and it was a classic symptoms of stroke. But she took rehab, and for the most part, she's speaking normal. She got back to a normalcy where I could understand her very well. We could barely even have any residuals of a little bit of the slur at all. And she's in her 90s. She's 93, 94, something like that.
There was a guy yesterday that had oh crap, a blood sugar problem, and his diabetes. He went into a shock, a diabetic shock, and my friend is working on a piece of equipment, and she used to be a nurse, and when I saw her, because the guy's kind of leaning on her equipment, and when she jumped up and ran around, I knew there was something wrong. And yeah, she got somebody to bring a chair and sat there, but I'll tell you, the gym isn't prepared for something like that. They don't have any, because nobody knew him. We didn't know where he was working out. So, his phone and he actually had a drink and his phone on the station that he was working, but he was walking back towards the restroom or something. But so I had to stand there, because as soon as, we put him in the chair, his head just fell back, and I stood there and let his head rest against my chest until the paramedics got there. But
So you're a lifesaver.
what's that?
You're a lifesaver.
No, I didn't save anybody's life. Paramedics, when they, everybody's like, dialed up, 30%, and, anxious and excited and worried. And when the paramedics walk in, they're as calm as can be, Hello, sir. Can you tell me your name?
What day of the week is it?
He had passed out, and they put him on a gurney and hooked up an IV, and within 15 minutes he was okay.
I got a story I can tell. I think the what do they call it? Statute of limitations is probably run out.
Okay, do you have a light you can turn on, Fred?
So I was working at LAX.
You gotta open your blinds.
I was working at LAX fire department, and we used to respond ahead of the ambulance, ahead of the EMTs. So we got a call one day, Terminal 2, woman down. That's about all we got. So we get there first. The paramedics, they're further away. They're on their way, and we're like EMT. We're David. You got some background, something going on there. Anyway, we're like EMT 1s, and the other guys are EMT 2s. The difference is that they can give injections, and there's certain things that EMT 2s can do that EMT 1s can do. Like we can't give injections, for one thing. In others.
EMT 1s.
Yeah. So anyway, we run in there, and here's this woman. She's kind of conscious, but we check her. She's breathing, but she's definitely unconscious. And there's a woman there who is not associated. I think she was just sitting next to her. And she says, she was fumbling around in her purse before she sort of passed out. So we look in her purse, and there's like, injectable like insulin. And I look at my partner and I say, you know what? You're never going to say anything, because if you do, you and I are both going to lose our job. And I had a lot of time on the job. So I took one of those things and I just shot her in the arm, kind of put it back in the purse. And about 5 minutes later, the paramedic showed up. She woke up. She was waking up. And they said, well, how's she doing? Well, I don't know. We got here and she was unconscious, but, you know, then just before you got here, she woke up. You got it. And then we left. So
And then they gave her another shot and she passed out again, right?
I don't know what happened after that. I just know, I told this guy, I said, look, you know, I'm going for it. You know,
Ooh, yeah.
so.
I got a couple of stories like that. You know, being a patrol, you open the door before paramedics gets there and you walk in with paramedics. So I did that for 12 years. So we had a lot of low blood sugar incidents here in Leisure World, and pretty good. And the paramedics are excellent in diagnosing it right away. You know, like you said, they come in real calm and ask questions real calmly. And by the time they're done, and we also look at the emergency information that many of the people in Leisure World have on the refrigerator. You know,
I
the
got
life
it on
information.
mine, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the first things I'd look for and get it ready for the paramedics. Save them a couple of minutes of searching for the item. And rarely did they take a low blood pressure low insulin person into the hospital. Most of the time they recovered after the paramedic diagnosed it was low blood sugar, but just simply them giving them milk, which has some sugar in it. Their favorite was orange juice, which has sugar in it, and they come right out of it. The only time they ever did haul somebody away is when we found one that we had been there a couple of times, and the last time she was really unconscious and wouldn't respond, so they took her. But other than that, fortunately here in Leisure World, it's pretty common, and the paramedics know exactly what to do, and they come right out of it.
So,
And they come out of it, they're just normal, and you never can tell that they were in a medical situation a few minutes before. It's
yesterday with this guy, he was last seen sitting on a gurney and telling the paramedics, no, I don't want to go to emergency. I'm fine, you know, arguing with the paramedics about it.
Yeah, they come right out of it real fast. Yeah.
One day at the bocce ball court, we had a fellow who was, I don't know, he's probably in his 90s, but he was a regular, played bocce ball, he was a good bocce ball player. And he basically, you know, DFO, done fell out. He just kind of actually fell right out onto the court. He wasn't playing, he was just observing. And then all of a sudden, boom, we thought maybe he tripped over the curb or something. And so, you know, several of us went over there. He was breathing, but he wasn't responsive. Anyway, so they called the paramedics, of course, right away. Took them a while, but anyway, they got there and, like you say, calm. They picked him up because we didn't move him. You know, I said, look, if as long as he's breathing, there's what, you know, don't move him. He's breathing. So they picked him up, kind of dusted him off, put him up on a bench there, and like you said, you know, talk to him, how you feel, you know, what day of the week is it, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to go to the hospital? No. Okay, they left. He got on his tricycle, and rode home.
Oh, boy.
Because that's how he got over there.
Yeah.
And the next time we saw him, he had no recollection of any of it at all. And I told the gang, you know, the bunch of people, if that ever happens to me, you tell him, he said he wants to go to the hospital. Don't listen to anything he says.
It always amazed me that there were always four paramedics that came when they want to take you away. There's one paramedic that comes in and asks you questions. Another paramedic that holds his bag with his stuff in it. A third one brings in the gurney, and the fourth one guides it or something. I don't know. There's always four people.
That's because sometimes it takes 4 people to lift up a person and put them on that gurney in around Leisure World.
It's also because in Leisure World, The fire department comes out every time, even if the other people come out, because they want to get money. They want to count it as a call. So the other people can be there and doing their job, and the fire department comes in and they copy the other guy's record and then they leave.
And you're right, because that fire engine's got 4 people assigned to it, and that's why there's 4 people there.
Yeah.
There's probably 5 of them, and one guy is sitting out in the fire truck, and the other
Yeah.
4 are in there.
He's
doing
holding
their
the
thing.
joint till they all get back there.
So one of them was actually talking to people in the gym, talking to the attendant, trying to find more information about him. Because he was unconscious, but once he came out of that, and he was able to tell him what locker he was in, and what piece of equipment he was working on. So we were able to go over and get his juice and his phone, and everything was cool.
Okay, here's a tip that I've told a lot of people. You take a picture, well, write this down on a piece of paper, your email address, not your phone number, but somebody else's, your spouse or your daughter or
Somebody to contact in an
a couple
emergency.
other contacts, and then you take a picture of it, and then it can be your screen on your phone, and it says if found, contact, and it's got your email address. This is just so somebody maybe finds your phone, but in an emergency, when they pick up your phone, it's on the guy, it's sitting on the guy's Stairmaster, but when you pick it up, you can't access the phone because it's got a password. But if you put that on your lock screen, then when they pick up the phone, well, you can't see it, they'll see that information. They'll say, oh yeah, there's a phone number, call that phone number. It's his wife or his brother or his daughter or somebody in the family to find out who in the hell it is and what's going on, rather than, Jesus, there's 9,000 people here and we don't know who this guy is.
I'm not that efficient. I just,
Well, you're in that gym, you might think about it.
yeah.
If you call the guy's number, you find somebody laying on the floor, they find his phone, and then you call his number, you just get him.
You don't
don't
put your own phone number on there.
Oh,
You put somebody else's phone number on there.
I missed it.
And the fact is,
They keep
I
calling
mean,
and it's busy.
unless you're the only one there to call, because normally in normal circumstances, the paramedics are on their way, like this case. But when they get there, they want to know who his next of kin is, blah, blah, blah. And you could say, look, here's his phone, there's the number, you guys call.
Right, a couple of things on param. Let me share some information on Orange County. Okay, I know how Orange County Fire Department responds. Okay, they'll send out a engine, which is a 4-man crew, and on medical issues they'll send out a second vehicle, which is a paramedic vehicle. So in a regular engine crew in Orange County, there is no paramedic, but there is a separate paramedic unit. So out rolls, so if somebody has a paramedic incident, calls 911, they roll out the fire engine and they roll out paramedics. Also rolling out is the private contractor. Somebody's got some sound in the background, by the way, I could hear.
Mute yourself, David. I think it's coming from David. It's scratchy, but I think it's David.
Me?
Yeah,
So anyway,
Silence.
yeah.
also rolling out with the 2 units from the fire department is the private contractor, the private ambulance. So you have 6 people there at times, including the security guy. They just fill up that room, and some people have to just wait outside until they're called in. Okay, and then back to the procedure has changed. So now, before, if somebody just rolled out of bed and needed to be put back in bed, they were not injured. We show up and they're on the floor, and we ask them, "Are you hurt? Are you injured? Would you like to call paramedics?" And they say, "No, don't call paramedics." just call the private ambulance that we have here, and they'll put me back in bed. And there's no charge for that. Okay, that
Do they
changed.
fluff up the pillow?
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. And so the private ambulance people would put the person back in bed. Then the policy changed, and I suspect I know why, that you could no longer do that, even if the patient said, I'm not hurt, I'm just embarrassed, I want to get back on bed. The policy changed, and now security, the system is paramedics has to show up when somebody rolls out of bed. And that brings up their calls. I think calls brings up their stats, and it justifies them being there.
And they charge for that?
No, they absolutely zero charge in Orange County. Okay, in Orange County, so far, unless it's an individual city that wants to impose a charge, it's free service.
Okay.
Okay, now the city of Corona, for instance, they will give you one free paramedic call. The second one or third ones they'll charge. So they will do this. They will sell an insurance policy to its residents. And if you pay a certain amount of money, you get unlimited paramedic calls at no charge. That's the city of Corona. Other cities charge, but in Orange County so far, they do not charge for rolling out paramedics. Okay, that's my only comment. Okay.
One thing I'll say about LA City, which again, I've been gone a long time, but one of the differences there is that the fire department operates the ambulance service. The people running the ambulances are firefighters with EMT training. So they're all part of the fire department, not a private ambulance company. That doesn't mean there aren't private ambulance companies, because sometimes people need, maybe they're not an emergency, but they need a transportation to the hospital because they're going to have elective surgery, blah, blah, blah. There's lots of other circumstances. But for emergencies, it's all operated by the fire department, and those paramedics are firefighters, trained as firefighters, and anyway, just, it's a little different. It varies from place to place. I always felt that those guys, I mean, I don't want to pick on private ambulance services, but it's been my experience that the firefighter paramedics are much better and much better trained and much better paid than people working for private ambulance companies. That's
You know,
been
you
my
guys
experience.
in the fire department EMT thing, they're trained and they're insured and they have a career. You know, in the private ambulances, these guys are hired right out of the training programs and paid shit.
Exactly.
And they
Well,
have
that's
to have
my
a
point.
nurse in one of their ambulances that are out. I don't know how many of the ambulance they have has to have a nurse.
Yeah.
But those nurses are usually pretty worn out.
I'm sure.
I mean, they got hurt lifting people or something like that. You know, a lot of nurses get destroyed by working in the emergency room and having to lift 500-pound people. It's just really sad, some of the things that happen to nurses. Who raised their hand? David did. Go ahead, David.
A piece of business. So I was at the Producers Club on Tuesday.
Do you have something turned on?
Your television? Is it TV or something on? Because there's some background noise.
Maybe I'll move my phone away from my computer. I don't know.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't have anything else on.
Okay.
You can still hear it?
Like a
No,
microphone.
not right now. You can,
Go,
Joe?
I can
Okay,
hear
so
go ahead,
So-
David.
when I got there, both my phone and my tablet were dead. I didn't have a key to the place, but I noticed when I got down on the floor looking for an outlet, and you know the metal boxes behind the bench, they're about 5 feet apart.
Mhm.
I plugged a three-prong outlet, a three-prong cord into one of those outlets, and it arced. And it's not supposed to do that.
Okay, so don't do that again, David.
What I'm telling you is
Yeah,
that
no, I'll report that.
it's the box probably isn't grounded if it's arcing.
Okay, but it wasn't one of the emergency boxes, was it?
No.
They're a different color.
It was
Okay.
just an outlet.
Can you tell me which outlet it was? Can you draw a thing of the room? And
Sure,
send it to
sure.
me and show me which outlet it was so I can report it?
Yeah, it was
Okay,
behind.
thank you.
Yeah, I'll show you. But they should check all of those outlets, make sure they're grounded. Because if you plug your computer in there, it's not grounded either. You know, nothing is grounded.
Was
When
it
you
your
plug something
computer was it your computer that you were plugging in to that outlet?
it's the brick or whatever you want to call it, the power
power brick.
supply. The power supply for the laptop will
Okay.
protect it. But you know, if there's a surge or something, it's just not grounded.
Yeah,
If you
well, just
check-
send me a picture of it or a diagram of where it is in the room. I'll ask them to check them all, but tell them that there was a problem with this one in particular.
All right. But that
let's
was
see.
my first day there. Joe, did you find the camera on top of the file cabinet?
Yes, I did. And I put
Okay.
it back in inside. Yes.
Okay.
And I signed her out. I got the form and signed it that it's all there.
Yeah, I had you know, I was tested by fire, man.
You have to
I
talk
got
to
the
another
radio
person?
club to open the door for me because I didn't have it. My phone was in charge. I couldn't call Joseph or Joe or anybody.
Well,
But
make a
all
list of
worked
things
out.
you should do at home before you go out, David.
Yeah, they want to turn the camera, and I'm going, okay. I got to put it in the cabinet. What's the combination or whatever?
I have to tell that to I'll email it to you. I
All
won't
right.
say it here on the Zoom.
No. But yeah, you know, it was okay. But I do want to learn where the flight simulator is and how to access that. Is
The
that on
drone, the drone,
and not
simu- drone,
PS4 there? Or
the drone
PS2?
simulator.
Can you stop by there on Wednesday when I'm there?
You're there on Wednesday?
Yep, 10 till noon.
Okay.
Make it 10 to 11, because if you come close to noon, I'm not going to sit there with you.
Okay.
But I'll show you how to use the simulator, how to play with the thing.
And come to one of our drone get-togethers, David.
What's that?
I mean,
He's
if
in
you're,
that club, he should come.
yeah, like I say, come when we have a drone fly out or whatever we call them. Come on
Yeah,
out
I
there.
know.
Come on out there. You get a chance to look at all the different drones and fly some and kind of get a feel for it.
Yeah.
Second Tuesday of the month.
Every Tuesday?
Second Tuesday.
Second Tuesday
Second
of the month.
Tuesday. Got it.
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, we heard that you can get the next booster. So I went on Google and yesterday and it came up with CVS Pharmacy, and we and I went to the internet and I scheduled a appointment for the one down on 2nd Street and PCH. And so me and my wife got the second booster yesterday.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know, I I was doing the same thing yesterday, and I kind of, it's kind of a long, it's not rocket science, but they ask you, all these stuff, which they should. And then I got to the one about, do you have prescription insurance or something, which I do, and then they ask you for an RX number, and I thought, well, I look on my card, I don't see it. And then I don't know, I sort of abandoned it, I guess, before I got finished. And then later I dug up the card because I knew it was someplace. I found it. So I was thinking I assumed that I didn't get a confirming email or anything, that it must have, it didn't get completed. So I'm going to go in there today and start from scratch.
Yeah. I just said that I didn't have one, didn't have that. And there was no problem. They didn't charge me anything, or I don't know why they asked that, but all I put in was my Medicare number, and that was it.
I should have just went past it also, because like you say, if you got Medicare, they're going to pay for it. Probably with that RX, maybe they get more money. I don't know, but you're right. I think next time I'm just going to skip that part and just,
just say you don't have any.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I should have done. So
Mhm.
now I learned my lesson. I would just mention that the last time I went and had a booster there, speaking of CVX or whatever they're called, right here, right over here, by Ralph's. I kind of thought, well, I'm going to go and there'll be like a lineup, that people got appointments. I don't know, they're 10 minutes apart or something like that. Boy, I walked in there was nobody there, and they said, step right over here, and they got a little booth kind of thing, and the nurse comes in there, boom, gives me a shot and says, walk around the store for 15 minutes because blah, blah, blah. It was really slick the way they did it. I mean, no waiting. There was no other, it wasn't like, because I thought, oh yeah, I really want to go stand in line with a whole bunch of people that half of them are probably sick, So that was a good experience.
Yeah.
David?
Yeah, I think we had an appointment for 4 o'clock, and
You're not David.
oh, sorry.
I just wanted to say I gotta leave early. I got something going on.
David, check your chat. David, check your chat, please.
Yes, I did, Joe. Thank you.
Okay.
So today is Thursday, so today's laundry day, so I gotta go get it and move it. If you guys are still here when I get back, I'll join you again. Okay?
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Was Steve going to say something?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say they took my wife's temperature when we got there, and at CVS, and I seen one lady go get some alcohol or something to put on her arms, and oh yeah, somebody almost hit me when hit my car when I was in the parking lot. So that was an experience. Yeah. Oh yeah. Then my wife said we were coming out of Tam O'Shanter. That's where where we live, and making a left onto St. Andrews, and somebody ran the stop sign just before I was ready to get going. Thank goodness it was before. I mean, he was going about 30 miles an hour, it seemed like, and
Speed
so
demon.
we missed that. He didn't hit us either. So
they're out to get you, Stephen.
Yeah, yeah. So it maybe took us about a half hour when we were over at that pharmacy to get the shot. so it wasn't bad. And they were nice people. I said, well, I asked the nurse that gave it to us, are we going to keep having to get boosters? And she said, well, if you contact the virus, I guess they got a pill now or something that they can give you. So maybe, I don't know that.
So that wasn't your booster shot you got yesterday?
Yeah, it
It
was my
was.
booster shot.
Okay.
But we asked her if we're going to have to keep getting booster shots
Oh, okay.
coming up, and
Yeah.
she said, well, maybe they can just give you a pill after, you know, if you contact the virus. So
They're working on that. They're working on that. So
was that right?
who knows how that'll work out, but maybe it'll be a case where, let's say twice a year, you take a pill and you put it on your calendar and it's up in the medicine cabinet. So January 1st, take my COVID pill, and then 4th of July, I take my other COVID pill, and that's it for the year. I
Mhm.
could see that happening.
Yeah.
But they're also
So-
working on pills that you take as soon as you have symptoms,
Yeah.
which minimizes the symptoms or keeps them from getting more serious, something. So they're working on it, but right now we're at that in between kind of stage.
Yeah.
They're also working on a combination COVID flu shot.
Oh, wow.
You know, everybody gets their flu shot every year.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they'd like to get a COVID shot that's good for a whole year. I mean, the flu shot's not good for a whole year.
Oh,
It's just that the flu season is during certain months, so that's
Yeah.
when they encourage people. But that flu vaccine, it doesn't last for a whole year. You think it does because you only get it once a year, but it does not last for a whole year. So in some ways, it's not that much different from COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they'll decide that there's a season where COVID is high, like flu. Maybe, oh yeah, wintertime, people are indoors, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's a high season. So that's, could be a situation very similar to flu shot. Let's hope so.
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to close up a little early today. I just want to ask you before we go, do people still like this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's Thursday once a week?
yeah.
Okay, I like it.
What happened to the rest of the people that used to come?
What?
What happened to the rest of the people that used to come here?
I don't know.
They're invited. They know it's
They're
happening.
invited.
Okay.
Sometimes
what
they
it-
come and sometimes they don't.
Well, I want to tell you something that I learned this week.
Okay,
There are an awful lot of people here in Leisure World that use marijuana.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They're coming out of the woodworks. Since I found out that I had to have a hip replacement surgery, I was already trying to get over this stupid stroke, and now I have to have a hip replacement, but marijuana fixes it so you don't care.
You mean you don't care that your hip hurts if you
No,
smoke
no,
dope?
that's it, yeah. You don't care if it hurts,
it
you
fixed
feel-
the whole Vietnam War.
yeah.
Just stop giving a shit.
Yeah.
So, do you have an inside Leisure World supplier, or do you go outside of Leisure World to get your stuff?
Both.
Okay.
Do you use Green Door?
You know, I used to get offers a lot. You know, a guy coming through there was one supplier here. He'd come through the gate, said, "Joe, do you need any marijuana?" I said, "No, not today." And then he'd take off. You know, he'd come in. I knew who it was. He was, this was, he was, as far as 8 years ago, he was our supplier, our underground supplier here in Leisure World.
Oh,
Well, I
They
would
are
think,
no longer
I mean, I
underground,
haven't
you
been
can
to
say
a dispensary, but I haven't smoked dope for such long. I don't have a clue how much it costs, but
Edibles.
it's relatively expensive. And it would seem to me, and I could be wrong, that will drive some of the black market. Like, hey, if, you know, if you're gonna get some dope and your neighbor 2 doors away's got it for half price, why wouldn't you buy from him rather than going to the dispensary? So
I
Okay,
have
I
a,
think
I
Fred's
don't know
about to
that
open a
from
business.
experience. I'm just making a guess.
You get a business license, Fred, or you're just gonna do it under the table?
I say I don't have any personal experience with it. It's just a hunch I have.
I have a grandson that helps me a little bit.
Well,
Can we all use them, or is he just
not
for
only,
you?
here's the next question. I think I actually already proposed it to, mentioned it to my mutual rep. If you can grow marijuana for personal use, can we have it growing in our garden? And they said, no.
No.
But I don't know if they can legally tell me or anybody that they can't do that.
You can grow it under a grow light in your house.
Yeah, I tried to grow some in my house, but I don't get any sunlight, so it died.
You get a grow light.
Yeah,
Get a
you can
light,
have
A
a
grow light.
yeah,
You
can
put
have
up a grow
light.
light in the closet. You put the plant in there and close the closet door.
I know.
And
I
it
know.
has sunshine 24 hours a day.
I had 2 teenage sons that did that.
By the way, the police department's gotten more modern now. So if you cop out to when they ask you, have you smoked marijuana during one of the tests? Yeah, you can answer yes, as long as it was infrequent. You're not a habitual user and all that stuff. And you're going to get tested anyway with a blood test, and they give you what do you call it? A lie detector test. So they give you all those marijuana things, and that's fine. As long as you're not a habitual user and it's not going to interfere with your job,
How
they'll
about
accept you.
how about if they stop you and you're driving and they have some suspicion? Is that different than just walking down the street?
Wait, you're talking about applying to be a police officer?
No, I say like a cop pulls me over and he says, you know, your taillight's out or something like that.
Oh,
you know.
okay. What?
And
okay.
then he smells marijuana. I roll down the window and he smells marijuana and he says, excuse me, sir, would you step outside, please? And you know, what happens from there? I'm just curious.
Now, the marijuana issue is pretty low key with the police department, unless you're a drug dealer. Then it becomes a pretty serious thing.
Or maybe if you're driving erratically or something like that. I mean, I could understand that too. If somebody's like driving like they're drunk, that's a good reason. That's the probable cause to stop somebody. You don't know why they're driving crazy. And if, you know, like you say, a guy rolls down the window and smells the pot, then he might say, yeah, well, you know, you're impaired or whatever they call it.
Yeah. When we used to bust people for DUIs, you had an option. Either you could refuse to take a test, and that was an automatic suspension of your driver's license if you read your vehicle code, or you could take a urine test, or you could take a blood test, or you could take a breath analyzer test.
Yeah.
And we would advise them, hey, take the breath analyzer test because that one doesn't check for marijuana. And so they would take it, and then because we were interested in if they were really drinking alcohol. But if they took the urine test or the blood test, they got deeper into the issues of what was in their system. But the breath for you guys that get busted, if you ever get busted for DUI, and you don't want to lose your license automatically, and you think you can beat the breath analyzer test, take that one. They won't pick up all the other drugs that you've taken in your system.
Good to know.
Word to the wise, Janice.
Good to know.
Will they pull you over if you're in a scooter?
Any impaired
Driving
driving,
erratically.
whether a bicycle, a motorcycle, a boat, a scooter, anything that's impaired that that requires a license.
Find out
I
what your,
don't have to have a license for my scooter.
Oh, but
You should though.
No, I went up to the thing and had said I wanted to have the tags put on. He says, "Oh, you don't need that."
I think is that, Joe, do you have to have that if you go outside of Leisure
So
World?
you
on
can't
the
take
public
these
street?
outside. Scooters, you can't take outside.
Oh, scooter, that's right. I'm getting golf carts and scooters mixed
Yeah.
up. Some golf carts are street legal, I think.
Got to be street legal though. It has to pass all the street legal
They
things.
have
the
lights
turn
on it and
indicators, the
hydraulic
brake
brakes
lights,
and.
headlights,
Gotta have
the
license.
wipers.
Mhm.
Then it's fine. You could, except you're limited to anything no more than 25 miles an hour. You cannot go on the freeway with the golf cart, as an example.
So right here, you probably can't even drive over to Ralph's in your golf cart, or can you?
No,
That's right, you cannot. And
So
you cannot
really, the
drive
only
it
place
down
you
to
can
Seal
go is
Beach
this little
because
strip
there's no
mall
way
that
there.
goes.
There's no way to Seal Beach that isn't 50 miles an
That's
hour.
right. So, yeah, so
I
you can't
stopped
go
in the
very.
police department and asked them, is there a way to get to the beach on a slow-moving vehicle? And they said no.
Yeah,
So the people on the hill in Seal Beach, they have the fancy golf carts because they're in the 25 residential mile area,
Yeah,
but they can't come over to shopping at the Target shopping place because you got that 55 mile zone or 45 mile zone on Seal Beach Boulevard.
I have a question. How about on the bike path that runs along the river? Is that limited to just pedal bicycles? Can you go there on an e-bike? Does anybody know, or can you go on
you
a
can
tricycle?
go on an e-bike.
You can? Can you go on a tricycle, e-bike tricycle?
I don't know if it's wide enough for a tricycle.
Well, it's pretty wide, I think. People ride,
Well,
I think people ride side by side, don't they, on that thing?
Yeah, they
I'm
cut
just asking. I don't have any
But
of
then you
those.
have to get out of the way of traffic coming the other way. When I see
Yeah, I
it,
don't
it's
know
pretty
either. That's why I
narrow.
meant, yeah. Well,
When there's
that's
people
why I
going
was-
in both directions, it's pretty narrow.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, because
Yeah,
e-bikes are very, very popular, getting more and more popular.
Yeah, it was very common from the North Gate, the people coming in on the weekends with their three-wheel incumbents and bikes coming into the bike path. But I didn't know which direction they went, whether they went to the mountains or if they went to the beach. But it was very common. You'd have maybe 5 or 10 of those in the whole day coming in and out.
Well,
through
the incumbents are narrower than other three-wheelers.
Yeah, they
True.
didn't come with an old-fashioned three-wheeler. They came in with the incumbents. Yeah.
Right,
Become
yeah.
yeah. I think you've all noticed that on the road out here that goes over to PCH, they have created a sort of a bicycle path. They have cones along there. And I think they stop right at the power station or something like that.
The Long Beach borderline.
Yeah, I guess that's a are those done by Long Beach then?
Yeah.
I thought that's a good idea. I mean, I have a bicycle, but I wouldn't ride out there because, you know, those cones don't stop a cement truck from going over
Yeah.
into that lane.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they're pretty, being so close to the beach, I think there would be more bike lanes leading down to the beach, you know, so that if you had an electric bike, you could head down there. But it's
Yeah.
just, it's too dangerous.
yeah, that's why it was, I mean, even at the time I thought, let's see if I had it, well, any bike, but I had an e-bike, I could kind of walk it up over, if I could go out whatever the back gate is over by maintenance, I don't know if you can go in and out, then I
Yeah.
could walk my bike along there until I got to the bridge, then I could get on the path and I could go to Seal Beach. That'd probably be the only way I could think you could do that with a bicycle.
Yeah, I've seen people ride their bikes across that bridge. You know, you can do it. It's whether you'll get a ticket for it or not. Or get hit by a bus.
Yeah, I've never been on that path, so I don't know how it works. Can you get on at every cross street that goes over the top of the river? I don't know how it works. So,
I know for sure. Okay, I took a long time ago that ride to the beach, and there's an exit at PCH, and there's an exit at Marina Drive. I remember those two exits, but I don't know about the rest of the other exits.
yeah, because if you can't get on where you come out of Leisure World on that road, if you can't get on there, then it wouldn't work.
You can, because I know somebody that used to go to the beach on his bike
Oh, okay,
on that trail.
all right.
Yeah,
That
we
goes
have,
down by where we flew the things, down
Yeah,
by
we
the,
see them getting
First
on there
Street
when we're
Cafe.
flying drones at the River's End there. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
where they start out. Yeah.
we
I
had
think
one
it's a-
guy here. One guy here still does that. He looks like a surfer type, and he's sunburned, and on the younger side of the residence, and he's been doing it for 5 years. Every day goes out there on the bike trail to the beach.
Yeah. Exercise.
Once in a while, he'll have a trailer for his surfboard. Other times, he just goes without it. Hey, don't forget the memorial service today. Bob Slater, 6 o'clock, Clubhouse 2. And Irene's going to be there for sure.
and Charlie's thing is today at 5 o'clock,
5:30.
5:30?
5:30.
5:30.
Yeah, I'll go after the Zoom call's over. Provided anybody shows up, nobody shows up, we'll just close up.
What are you doing, Charlie?
The Zoom Tales call
Oh,
at 5:30.
okay.
Thursday, 5:30 Zoom calls.
Yeah, last week we had pretty good attendance for a change.
Yeah,
Every-
people are just getting back in the swing of it because we're starting to have meetings in person stuff. So this stuff has to catch back on again, but I think that 8 people at a meeting is pretty good on Zoom.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too. Yeah. I know when I belonged to Seal Beach Yacht Club and they kind of did shut down, we tried to do a Zoom thing and boy, it just flopped. I mean, no, they have like 200 members or something and
Mhm.
like people just, they just didn't show up. You can't make people come to something like that. So that's the way it is.
Well, I said I had to close up early, but I didn't do it. Well, I did it, but you didn't notice because I shut off the mic and the camera. I went and did the thing and came back. So
okay.
You're so efficient.
Oh, don't forget we got a theater club show this weekend, Saturday. It's
Yeah, Irene and I were shooting that.
right.
It'd be a 2-camera shoot.
Yep.
Tomorrow's rehearsal.
We have when's the rehearsal?
Tomorrow.
Friday night is the rehearsal. Saturday night is the show.
So are you going to film any part of the rehearsal, Irene and Janice?
I don't think so. I don't know.
they're just going for laughs. That's
Okay.
Those are-
rehearsals, laughs.
Those are fun. Those are fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use it for outtakes later.
Yeah, good for outtakes.
Yeah, you'll have 2 hours of outtakes.
Wow.
Have
the
you
dro-
guys seen,
the
have
drone
you guys
club
seen
got-
the commercials that Bob Dufney's put on Facebook? He's done
Yeah.
a good job. He's done a good job with that.
That's a nice job. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Talk
Joe and I
about
were
it.
talking about that yesterday. He's out there going to try and recruit that guy for the club.
Yeah, he's a real nice guy too.
The drone club got a picture in the newspaper, by the way, this week.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, good promotion.
Yeah, Owen's doing pretty good at promoting stuff. He's very terse with what he has to say. It's just like not an article. It's just 2 lines,
All
So
right.
we get stuck down in that little corner on the fold. But at least the picture's in color.
Yeah, even on the paper this week.
Mm-hmm. And the drone club's gonna have a contest for a logo. To have someone design a logo, so artists out there, pay attention. There'll be big prizes.
How big?
Small.
No.
You'll get some of the product that you'll get copies of the product you helped design.
Thank you.
So if you design a shirt, you'll get a shirt. If you design a hat, you'll get a hat. If you design a shirt and a hat, you'll get a shirt and a hat.
Sounds exciting.
If you design any more than that, you'll get a shirt and a hat.
By the way, the swimming pool now has electricity, where before it didn't.
Hooray.
Yeah.
So you can plug in your iron and then throw it into the pool.
Yeah, well, Saturday they had like about 4 trucks there,
Yeah.
and then they later on they had the cherry picker lift, putting some guy up there so they could connect the Edison wires to the service head. It goes up the pole, and that service head then goes down into the main electrical panel of the swimming pool. So the guys were pulling the cable, and then they hooked up to Edison up there. So at least they got power to the main service panel now.
Yeah.
It took a long time. Yeah, they had issues with Edison and the contractor reaching some issue about where they were going to hook up to it and when they were going to do it. So that caused a delay as well. Now, I don't know who screwed it up or who arranged the time element of doing it in the location, but there was an issue with Edison. But it's straightened out now and it's all done. At least that part.
Yeah.
Joe, did you hear when they're going to open it?
Sometime in May, I think, isn't it?
That's what Eloy told me.
Eloy told you
Traditionally,
that?
they open on Memorial Day, right? Pools, and close on Labor Day or something like that?
Yeah.
So Stephen, who told you that it was going to be May?
I think it was Eloy. He was there that day that they were pulling wire. And I asked him, when are you going to open the pool? And he said maybe in May. I said
maybe in
that's
May,
a
okay.
$64,000 question. And
Yeah, they were saying that 2 years ago,
yeah,
maybe in May.
yeah. So
I noticed
he
in the
didn't answer right
newspaper.
away. He didn't
We could have
answer
had
right
the
away,
whole
so it's
of
nothing,
Leisure World
firm.
raised up so that we wouldn't need a ramp at the amphitheater with the money they spent on the pool.
Exactly. I noticed in the newspaper, they're gonna redo the wood shop over in Clubhouse 1. It's on,
Yeah.
it was mentioned in their, I don't know what you call it, but I saw
Yeah, they're
mention of
gonna
that.
shut down the one over on 2, I guess.
Oh, are they? They're only gonna have one?
Yeah, that's what I read in the paper.
Ah, well, I didn't know
What
that.
happened to the mini farm?
Yeah, I went over there the other day to dump some dirt and stuff from my garden. Yeah, and I saw it was like, boy, they plowed that out. You
Yeah,
know, it was.
it's
they
leveled.
flattened that thing.
They
It's
leveled
all
it.
leveled, yeah.
Yeah, they don't have an idea what they're gonna do either.
Well, I saw they had I don't know if I saw it on Zoom or something. They had somebody who's supposedly in charge, and they had a plan, and they were trying to get it approved. And whoever was in charge was sort of giving their idea of what they wanted it to be. And basically, they were going to do raised garden boxes, whatever you call that, you know, so you don't have to stoop over so low. That's one of the advantages of them. And they were going to, I don't know how they were going to be a certain size, let's say 3 foot wide and 6 foot long or whatever. And then there weren't going to be any separation, like no fences. You would just, I guess, if you you'd get a box, so to speak, you know, you'd have box number 5 and that would be it. And then they were going to have like a tool shed where you'd go and there'd be no place to put your tools. So you'd go over to the tool shed, kind of like, you know, put your chit in there, you know, and give me a shovel, and then, you know, that whole kind of story. So that was the proposal I saw, and I thought that's
What kind of
that means if
wonderland
you
are
want
these
free
people living in?
vegetables, that's where to go.
Yeah, and one of the stories they were telling, because somebody said, well, why are you doing it that way? They said, oh, that's the way that community gardens are going these days. That was kind of how they said, that's the trend. And I thought,
What they said was shut up and go away.
yeah, because I've never seen one. I mean, not that I've seen every community garden, but I know someone who's,
Why would they have a community tool shed? That was ridiculous.
That's exactly what I was thinking, yeah. How long
And
is
like all I have to do is
before all
go
those
let the weeds
tools
grow
would
in
be
my
gone?
patch and reach over to other people's stuff and steal their cucumbers.
Yeah.
Free
know.
cucumbers.
Exactly, so,
There's no curfew around here. You can go out at midnight and pick the
Yeah.
place clean.
exactly, so that was my thought too.
They do have security cameras out there. I
Well,
don't know if they
just
ever
dress
got
up
those
as a
going.
giant vegetable. You know, what are they gonna do? Track down the giant carrot that stole the
Yeah,
peas?
somehow I can't see somebody sitting in front of the big panel looking at the community
those
garden
things
to
are
make
for
sure
review. After
somebody's,
something happens, they review the tapes. No one watches them.
exactly. Yeah,
We talk about the security cameras.
you just wear a mask when you go
At
over
the-
to steal somebody's
Yeah,
vegetables.
that's right.
Yeah, at the the view from the watch commander's desk is the monitors that have the all the security cameras in Leisure World.
Hmm.
Now, do they watch them all the time? The answer is no,
No, no.
because we're too busy handling the phones and everything else. And once in a while, when we get bored, we'll watch the cameras, and we'll look at hot spots in the cameras, like where they used to jump over the St. Andrew's Gate until it was changed. That guys would jump. We knew how they jumped over the gate and where they would jump. Same thing with the North Gate, how they got in, and now it's changed, so it's a little more difficult. But anybody who wants to come in, they can come in if they really want to. It just keeps out the more like the honest people than the bad people.
Yeah, you can
And,
just
Keep
walk
out the
in where the
residents with
cars
bad
are
memories.
going out onto Seal
Well,
Beach
and then-
Boulevard.
and to give you a little idea of the security to the mini gates, the mini farms. At one time, they were all open, and anybody could go on a 24-hour basis and go in there and steal stuff. They ride their bikes or walk in and steal. And then there was a chain put. There was a chain gate. And one of my duties was in the early morning, because that was my shift at the end, to unlock the chains at each end. And then after that, some gates were put in, and then the gates would lock up. So it became progressively a little more difficult for people to get in and just walk in and steal fruit. But it was a big thing. Everybody would go in 24 hours a day and steal whatever they wanted to, whatever was in season. And the little fences wouldn't stop them. So, and then they started putting in the security cameras. The original one was a dummy one. There was one on the pole that faced the mini farms, and they had a wire coming out of it. That was a dummy camera. And I can say that now, because now they have the real cameras. So that's the evolution of the security cameras and patrols and stuff like that for the mini farms. It was always interesting watching people going in there, looking and browsing. And I knew they were shopping for something to take, but they never took it in front of us.
Yep. Look away, look away.
Yeah. But it's going to be more expensive. First of all, it's going to cost a pretty penny to make it work. And anything that GRF gets involved in, they'll upgrade it to handicap access if it's brand new stuff. And if they put a guy part-time working there, it's going to cost more money, just like they did with the RV club.
Exactly. There'll be a guy at the tool shed during,
Yeah, so
8 hours a day or something.
Yeah, all the prices went up on the RV rentals. It did improve it. They made some improvements and give them credit for that. And they did stop the businesses that were occurring, in some cases with some of the people that had RVs there. So it did change for the better, but it's also more expensive. So you pay for that. The same thing's going to happen to the mini farms. You're going to pay for it. It's going to be better, but you're going to pay for it. It's going to cost more. And the room that we got kicked out of, that's been used now. quite a bit. I go by there and it's there's a lot of classes in there. They're using those fancy monitors and that fancy computers that pop up and come down. And
They're
they have
actually using the computers?
they're using the computers and they're using the electronic whiteboard. And I was there last week. It was full. The room was full, and everybody was using the equipment.
What kind of classes are they?
Was that through, what's the name of that junior community
Let's raise our
college
hands
thing?
again because people are getting cut off here.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Fred.
Do you know whether that was like a sponsored class by that, what is that? North Orange County thing?
I don't know.
Steve, you had something.
Yeah, I was just wondering to know what kind of classes they were having there.
Call the library.
Call the library? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Library's in charge of that room.
I mean, I'm glad to see that they're doing something with the damn thing, because it seems to me they haven't been doing much. So I'm thrilled that somebody's using the thing. It costs a fortune to do it.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, like Joseph said, the library is in charge of that room. They're in charge of that room. And the classes are OLLI classes for the most part. And some classes, they're hurting for people. In other classes, they're jam-packed and sold out. So check with the library. They have the sign-in sheet for their classes. I'm sorry, I used the wrong term, OLLI. NOCE, the North Orange County Continuing Education Program.
Right. Because I told the story before that opened, I went to the library one time and sort of playing dumb. I said, "Oh, I see you're going to have a learning center, whatever they call it over there." "Oh yeah." And I said, "Well, you know, I'm a computer instructor," something like that. You know, I was teaching I'm a computer instructor. I wonder, would it be possible for somebody like me to have a class? "Oh, I don't think so. That's going to be a very busy place. You know, that's going to be," well, of course, it's not busy. It hasn't been. But it was like the guy was sort of think like, "No, you're just some schmuck. No, you can't do that." Well, only the official people can use that.
Keep those pain in the ass residents out of here.
Exactly.
They can come and listen to experts. They can't claim to be one.
Yeah, because when it first started up, I don't know if you remember, they had the instructors there, and this one woman, I think, was the kind of a computer teacher, phone teacher. And I went up to her and I said, "You know, maybe I could give you some assistance over there because I'm interested in all that stuff." Oh man, she was thrilled because, you know, hey, somebody will help me for nothing, you know? Yeah, well, let's keep in touch. But yeah, so anyway, I probably wouldn't be, even if they said yes, I probably wouldn't do it. But I was just curious to who's going to be able to use that. And
let's go around now for final thoughts. Steve, do you have a final thought for us?
Well, I think we should keep this Thursday going for sure. So yeah, it's nice to get thoughts from other people and what's going on around Laser World. Okay, that's it.
All right, thanks. Charlie?
Not much. Just sounds good to me too.
Okay, 5:30.
Yep, 5:30.
Yeah, 5:30. Yeah.
Charlie
Maybe.
mixes drinks. Joe, do you have anything? Fred, you had your hand up?
no,
Okay. All right, Irene, come on. You haven't said anything all day.
I'm looking forward to it. I always have been part of this. Yeah, I learned a lot today. Even today, I learned a lot.
Sure.
Okay.
yeah, it's like a
Janice,
coffee.
it's always
It's like
nice
a
to see
coffee
you.
clatch. It's like a coffee clatch. Is that what they call them?
Fred,
Yeah,
you had your chance and you didn't want to say anything. Janice, come on.
Is Fred finished now?
Yeah, he's
Well,
completely unwound, I think.
you can still understand me, so I'm going to go take my medicine. So You may
Oh.
not be able to understand me later on.
Will we see a puff of smoke coming out of your?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Hey, it's so nice to see everybody today. See you guys next week. Thanks a lot.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Z.